This is part 4 on how my sister was unalived with the man that she met 3 weeks ago. Sorry, guys, I'm outside in my kids' soccer and I don't want them to hear. So, anyway, as I was saying, we walk into this room and she's laying there on the table, and everything literally, I can't hear anything. Like, I look over and my mom, literally, when I tell you guys, she was screaming. I mean, she must have jumped 10 feet off of the ground. And the security guards had to literally grab her and tackle her to the floor because she was screaming. And I mean, but in the midst of her screaming, it was like I heard her screaming, but I didn't hear her screaming. They tackled her to the floor, and at this point, I start calling my sister's name. I'm like, Aisha, Isha, get up, get up, get up. Isha, get up. And she's not moving. She's just laying there on the table, and I'm just literally, I'm calling her. I'm like, get up, get up, get up. And again, I'm still thinking she's like breathing, like even though she's not, but you know, when you're so in shock, you have no idea. And the last thing I remember, I just remember everything going pitch black. I must have blacked out. I must have, fell out. I must have, I don't know. But I come to it, I get up, and I go over to her body. And I'm just looking. Like, I'm just looking at her. And, it was like a dream. Like, just imagine your sibling, your loved one, and you're just literally standing over top of their deceased body. It was the most outer body experience, and it's something that honestly I wouldn't wish on anybody. I'm gonna continue with more videos, but to know me is to know that I took care of my sister. Like, my mom was on drugs, sorry guys, my entire life. And I practically raised my sister. So to see her laying there on a table like that, it was literally it was a pain that I can't even begin to explain. The pain, the hurt, it was pure insanity. So fast forward, guys, after that, we left the hospital, and then I honestly feel like I didn't even get time to grieve because, like I said, my mom was still an addict at the time. So everything fell on me. So I had to literally do everything from planning a funeral to, and then immediately I was a single mom already with my first son. So I had to take her son and take him back home with me. Like, I didn't have a babysitter, for him. I didn't have childcare. Like, it was just a lot, guys. Like, it was just horrible. It was the most horrible experience that you could ever imagine. Fast forward to the trial. First of all, the girl who helped her boyfriend murder the guy and my sister, she fled. So she had to be captured by bounty hunters, and she fled all the way to Florida. So they found her in Florida. They found him by stuff that he was posting on Facebook and tips. And what's crazy is, for a couple of months, I would go up there because I kind of felt like, even though how investigations go where, they're doing work behind the scenes, but I just felt like the case was moving too slow. And I watch, a lot of First 48, and I just kind of felt like my sister's case was not being handled correctly. So I literally would leave work and drive 45 minutes all the way up to the next town. And I would go up there and basically look for clues and knock on doors. Like, when I tell you, I was not letting her pass away in vain. I was knocking on doors. I have flyers, posters. I was putting them on trees and telephone poles and everything. And people were leaving tips and putting stuff on my Facebook, and I was sending it over to the police. It was just a lot. But at the end of the day, the guy was captured. So was the girl. They actually used the girl to turn on the guy to be able to fully pin everything on him. And all in all, the trial lasted for about a week. He got sentenced to almost 80 years. Technically he got sentenced to 45 years, but he was already 42 years old when he went in there. So technically it'd be 80 some odd years that he would be in there with no possibility of parole. So even though I wanted him to get a life sentence, I mean, I was okay with that because that was the best that was on the table. I'm going to do another part 5 so that you guys can understand how I maneuvered with her son. And so this is a guy when I first got him with my sister. This was the first day I got full custody of him. And this teddy bear is made out of my sister's clothing the day that she passed away. And I had it made into a bear for him. And every year, this is what I do for him. His favorite gift for Christmas comes from his mom. Just watch.
I was told to deliver this. All right? So let's read it. All right. So you're AJ, right? Mm-hmm. To AJ. From?
Mom in heaven?
She says, I love you always, son. Merry Christmas. Be good. I'm always with you.
Oh, my holiest realization.
What is it?
It's the ticket for Spider-Man No Way Home.
And this is my baby now. He's 13. Hey guys, this is part 6 and 7. Tonight I'm doing part 6 and 7 of my sister was unalive with the man she met 3 weeks ago. So tonight I'm gonna focus on a lot of things that I've been seeing. There's so much to go over still, but I'm gonna go over some of the things that I've been seeing in the comments. So first things first, I never really did the upload an extra photo thing, so I'm gonna try that. So I'm just gonna point here and hopefully I'm able to put the photo in, but this is the guy who unalived my sister. Now I'm hoping that I'm able to put the picture in there. If I don't, guys, forgive me. I'll try to put it in the comments or something like that, but let's go there first. So the man who unalived my sister was sentenced to 40 years for a double unaliving. He was already 42 years old, so that would give him 82 years, you know, until he's 82 years old to be able to get out of jail. That was the max of the sentence because it was 3rd degree unaliving and then like some other things, using a hand, pew and all of that kind of stuff. As for her, this is major because so many people keep asking about this. As for her, she got time served. She got time served, which was technically 8 months. And the reason for that being is because they had to use her testimony against him because technically there was no one who saw it. So he could have potentially got off. So what they did was have her flip on him so that she could ID him as the pew man. And in exchange for that, they basically let her walk. It was actually heartbreaking because if you watch my other previous stories, you know that she was the one who set this whole thing up. So how dare they? And that was very hard because when they brought it to me, I was like, no, absolutely not. But then I had to understand after they broke it down, the detectives, like, listen, there's a chance that he could walk. So we have no choice but to go this route. So she basically got time served. Another main thing that I want to touch on, guys, is there's so many people that are in the comments basically saying, how do you know, like basically word for word what happened? Let me explain that to you. So a lot of you know watching the previous videos, and I'm going to go into a whole nother video in regard to my mom, but let's talk about this right now. So I spoke on, you know, my mom with her addiction and things like that. So you could only imagine, my mom was already in addiction. So can you imagine now knowing that her daughter was unalive, what that did to her? My mom literally was done for. Like, she, when I say went off the deep end as far as the drinking and drug use and all that kind of stuff, just a mess. My sister, for those of you that don't know, was the youngest of us three. And you know how they always say, like, your parents don't have favorites, but we all knew that my sister was my mom's favorite. They were like this. The relationship was extremely toxic between them two, but they were inseparable. So that left me as the next of kin in line to be able to handle everything. So as far as like the investigation goes, so when the detectives were doing all their work and everything went through me. Everything, the phone calls, we got this evidence, everything that they were finding out, it was all going through me. The detectives were literally calling me for months, telling me how this went on. Also, there was cameras inside the boyfriend's apartment. So the cameras gave them pretty much a lot of the information. So you could hear the screaming, you could hear the knock at the door, you could, like, all of that stuff, you literally saw it all on camera and you could hear it. Now, I have to be honest with you guys. Some of the stuff, because I was my sister and I was so still going through it and just so hurt, there was a lot of things that I didn't want to be a part of or I didn't want to see. Because I've had a previous family member who passed away, I knew how the investigation worked. So if you've been through this, you know that toward the trial or during the trial, they come with this manila envelope. And in the envelope is pictures of the actual crime scene and your deceased loved one and all of that. And I told the detectives from the beginning, please, do not, under any circumstances, show me any pictures of my sister deceased. I was the one that was in control of everything as far as my sister's funeral went. And a lot of you guys don't know, but I'm actually a beautician. And so I was strong enough to even do my sister's hair the day of her funeral. Again, I was still in shock. So it wasn't hard to do because it still did not hit me that she was gone. Like, yes, she was laying there. Yes, she was in the casket that I picked out. Yes, she was deceased, but it's still, because you got to remember, I got her son and then I went right into planning a funeral. So everything was moving. There was people around every single day. So I never got a chance to actually grieve. So I was moving, planning, never was alone. Like, so I told them, do not show me the photos. I wanted to remember my sister the way that I laid her to rest. I didn't want to see her laying there. I didn't want to see the scene. I didn't want to see blood. I didn't want to see any of that. I did not. So I ran, the entire investigation went through me. So for the people who keep asking, how do I know how this happened, that happened? The detectives called me every other day, or when a couple weeks went by, I was the point of contact. When the trial went on, I was the point of contact. When they came to me with the plea for her and the sentencing for him, everything went through me. I also want to touch base on my sister. I got a copy of her death certificate, but I was not, and I'm still not strong enough to get a copy of her autopsy report. I didn't get a copy of the autopsy report because in my mind, I did not want to see the time that she was pronounced versus the time that they thought that she was pew-pewed. Where my sister was pew-pewed, it was like in her upper left arm and then her bottom torso. In my mind, I just felt like that's not an instant death. So I felt like it played in my mind, y'all. It played in my mind for weeks and weeks and weeks and months and months and months. It played in my mind like, did she just lay there? Like, did she did she lay there just dying, like just thinking like she made the wrong decision or she shouldn't be there? Like, did she just lay there just knowing like nobody was coming to save her? Like nobody was coming. And I just felt in my mind like she probably just bled out because nobody came. No one called 911. Like, so I, to this day, have not ordered a copy of her autopsy report because I didn't want to see those times. I didn't want to see the time that they believe she passed away to the time that they pronounced her, like in between. My soul cannot take feeling like she just laid there and just knew that nobody was coming. Like nobody was coming. I'm gonna leave off here and then I'm gonna go to part 7.